Hey y'all, welcome to my channel where we talk about all things television and film from today and yesteryear. So I want to come on here with another recommendation. I wanted to recommend the show Eric on Netflix. It's starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Ivan Howe, Dan Fogler, McKinley Belcher, Gabby Hoffman, Clark Peters, and a bunch of other people. The show is centered around this young man here at the top, Eric, who goes missing. His dad and his best friend, they are puppeteers. They created this show, this very popular show, in their area where they live at. The show is it's basically based in the 80s, which I love. I love nostalgia. I love the 80s. And it's a very popular kids show, but unfortunately, it's a lot of chaos at home. So these are Eric's parents, played by Benedict Cumberbatch and Gabby Hoffman. They are very dysfunctional. They literally cannot stand each other. Their marriage basically has outweighed its welcome. And it begins to affect Eric in a way that they themselves did not realize. So they are in the middle of an argument, and the dad tells Eric, he's like, "Hey, you can go ahead and go to school." Um, and Eric's mom is like, she's like, "Why would you tell him to walk to school? He's only in the fourth grade." He was like, "It's right up the block, blah, 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 blah." So Eric leaves, and of course, he ends up going missing. This is the detective, the younger black man. He's the detective. He handles missing person cases, and the older black man, he lives in the building where Eric lives. He's like the janitor. He makes sure the outside and everything is kept, clean or whatnot. So once Eric goes missing, of course, the older black man, he's one of the suspects, and come to find out, he has a record that was expunged, but it did have something to do with children. Um, and at some point in the series, we find out that Eric has been in his apartment, but it's completely not what you think. Eric turns out that he goes to Mr. George, I believe his name is George on the show, goes to his apartment because he wants to get away from his parents whenever they're arguing, because the arguing is just it's just too much. So anyway, during the time that all of this is going on, you got the police involved, the missing persons, everything. His dad basically his the monster inside of him basically starts to fester. So I know this puppet looks crazy because he is a puppeteer, and it threw me for a loop when I first saw the trailer and everything. And I was like, what is this? What is this about? But the representation of this puppet slash monster basically is just a manifestation of things that his dad is dealing with internally. And if you watch the series, you will see that every main character in this show is dealing with a monster inside. You know how people say, "Oh, you have demons," but basically it's just the monster inside of them that they're dealing with their own. Because Eric's mom, she is cheating on her husband. It's just a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of things that are going on. But basically, this monster manifests itself, and he's basically telling Vincent, which is Eric's dad, "Hey, we got to go find your son. This is all your fault, blah, blah, blah." But Vincent is, yo, when I say he got some serious issues, I'm talking about this man drinks morning, noon, and night. Oh my God, when I tell you, he upset me so bad in this series because he allowed his addictions to basically take over him, even trying to process the fact that his son is missing. Like he rather get drunk and basically try to forget about it, and he ain't out there looking for his son. Like, that just did not make sense to me. um oh, it was crazy. Meanwhile, we find out that Eric, you know he's okay, but the guy up here with these locks, um, Eric would rather be with him than his parents. Um, I'm not gonna spoil everything because I do want people to watch it because it's just, I think it's gonna surprise a lot of people what ended up happening. But the guy with the locks, he, you know, is basically trying to make sure that Eric is taken care of, but at the same time, he wants the ransom money that the parents are offering for their son's return. Also, the dude right with the locks, he got some little crackhead chick hanging around who basically trying to sell Eric for her to pay off her drug debt. She walking around looking disgusting like she could be related to Mary Typhoid or something. Like, girl, oh my god, it's crazy. um this show on the surface is about Eric, but it has a lot of underlining stories in the series as well. Because the police officer that I showed earlier, the black guy, like I said, a lot of the main characters on here are dealing with their own monsters. And he is part of the LGBTQ community, and he does not want people on his police force to know because, again, this is at a time in the 80s where things are taboo, where being gay, especially a black gay man or a gay police officer, is just like, you know, the type of things that they say, in a police session and things like that in regards to people in the LGBTQIA community. It's crazy. But that is one of the underlying stories in this series. Also, with Eric missing, we also get a similar story with this black woman whose black son is missing. So we get to see the disparities in that where it's like Eric is getting all the media attention. And granted, the black boy that's missing, he's been missing for quite some time. But the mother was just saying that her son did not get the same attention that Eric is getting. So we do get to see that play out, which is something that we've heard before, but we do get to see that play out. But like I said, it is a lot of other stories that are going on in this series, but the main thing is the focus on Eric. But you also get to see how all of these stories end up tying in together when it comes to Eric as a whole. And these are some of the drawings that Eric did. He's a very talented kid. He's very smart. He, you know, he takes a lot out of his dad with his creativity and his talent. Um, Eventually, the story does have a good outcome. But like I said, what I did appreciate about this show is that it just shows you how it's not the monsters under your bed that you need to be worried about. It's the ones that live within you or live with you. It's one of those scenarios. I just really enjoyed the show. The Like I said, just the whole take on it and the analogy with the monster, it really threw me for a loop because I was like, what is this big old puppet thing? But when you see how it all comes to the light in the show, um, and why the monster slash puppet or whatnot is so relevant. I think it'll, just kind of give you a different outlook or perspective on everything. Because, like I said, for me, it represented all of the things that most of the characters were dealing with personally. Um, it was good. I really liked the show. Like I said, it is a limited series. It's around 6 episodes. It is like I said, it's a lot more going on in the show outside of the fact of them looking for Eric. And I definitely recommend this show. But in the words of Reading Rainbow, you don't have to take my word for it, okay? But anyway, please tell me what you guys think about this video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for listening. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.